Service everyone, Byron Barbie here, and today I'm going to go through 50 facts about me and super fast because I don't want this video to be too long. But before I do that, I'm going to give you 4 updates on Byron on things that have happened since the last time we spoke. Hit it! Number 1, we signed Benjamin Pavard, and I didn't even know if that was going to happen, let alone this fast, like this early. So I'm very, very happy about it, and I can't wait to see him in our jersey next season. Number 2, Thomas Mueller got his sentencing. That sounds really horrible, but his sentencing for the kick to the head that he gave someone in the last Champions League match. So he is banned for 2 matches, and it's sad, but the punishment fits the crime. I don't really know what that means for us in terms of us playing Liverpool. I know that it'll be very detrimental. However, James Rodriguez is back in full health, and so I feel like he'll take over the spot very easily. Speaking of Rodriguez, he and Alphonso Davies got to play in the Telecom Cup this past weekend, and we won that, so that is the 3rd most exciting thing. And the 4th is that I really don't know if this Callum Hudson-Odoi, I'm just going to call him Cho for short because his name is really long, but I don't really know if this transfer is going to go through. We only have 2 or 3 days left in the transfer season, and it's been taking so long, and it's really just all of Chelsea's fault. I read some blog report about how he would probably leave for free at this point. He just doesn't want to be a part of that team anymore. So we'll see what happens. Now let's get into the 50 facts about me. Number 1, my first name is not actually Barbara. It is Ann, A-N-N, and I hate that name. Barbara is actually my middle name. I'm just not going by Ann anymore. Don't ask me why. It's a long story. Number 2, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Number 3, I was obsessed with Barbie, just the figure, not just the doll. So I had Barbie coloring books, the Barbie books that came in the little, what was it, the little gold books that came in the, it was a lunch pail that even had Barbie on it. I had the coloring books, I had the pencils. I didn't have the dream house or the van. My cousin actually had those, and she had way more dolls than I did. And so I was always at her house and playing with her stuff, and I'm pretty sure I stole a couple of her dolls because she was a tomboy anyway. Ooh, and I had the limited edition Barbie roller skates. Number 4, my favorite color is battery charged blue. My favorite television scene is in The Wayans Brothers. It's episode 6 of season 1. Pops moves in, and it's the bedtime scene where Sean and Marlon are going to bed on the pull-out couch, and they're making way too much noise, and so Pops has to keep getting up and warning them that they're gonna get beat if they don't stop. And it's funny because that is the exact reenactment of how my sister and I were when we were younger. These next few facts actually group in together. One is that I went to a boarding school, and I loved it because it taught me a lot about independence and how to be my own person in the midst of peer pressure, because you're surrounded by your friends all of the time. The next fact is I had a boyfriend at that school, and I told him that I was breaking up with him because my mom said I was too young to date, but really it was because none of my friends liked him. The next fact related to that school is I learned how to swim when I was 17 years old. The school had a crew team, rowing, if you guys don't know what crew is, and I really wanted to be a part of it, but it was required that you knew how to swim or pass the swim test, and so I had to learn, which I did, and I worked very hard at it, and now swimming is one of my favorite activities. Another late bloomer fact is I don't know how to ride a bike. I technically learned when I was 16, and that is way too crazy and long of a story, but it ends in a tragic accident, and I never rode a bike ever again, and I've since tried, but it's a failure. I hate jelly. I think jelly is so disgusting. I don't eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. If someone gives me one, I will scrape off the jelly and eat the peanut butter in between the bread. It's gross. And marmalade, why? I have met 6 Bayern players. I have met Vicente Lizarazu, Frank Ribery, Kingsley Coman, Bastian Schweinsteiger, Sven Ulreich, and Rafinha. I've met all of them at meet and greets except for Kingsley Coman. I randomly met him at a nightclub in Miami. Crazy story, but tons of fun, and he and his friends are just the nicest people. I am on level 1452 of Candy Crush, and I am not ashamed. My favorite Disney movie is Hercules. My favorite Disney princess is Ariel, the Little Mermaid. The first book I ever bought with my own money was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and best believe I read that book through and through 3 times because that cost me a lot of Tooth Fairy money. My favorite city is not actually New York City, it is Stuttgart. I am convinced that I am psychic. My favorite subject in school was math. Before Germany, I learned German through Duolingo and listening to the German rapper Crow. My favorite flower is the blue hydrangea. I have never been to a funeral, so I know a lot of people who have passed, but I think a bunch of people crying in a room together is very weird, and I don't really need to hear other people's old stories because I don't really find it comforting, so I just don't go to funerals at all. And also, P.S. if I ever pass away, please do not host a funeral for me and have everyone sitting together crying. I think that's very, very weird. Just like cremate me and turn me into fireworks or something. I have only been to one wedding and I didn't even know the people who were getting married. I was in a choir in college and 2 alums were getting married at our chapel and they asked us to sing. I love the potato in any form, except raw. My favorite ice creams are, yes, ice creams, are Rocky Road from Baskin Robbins and Half Baked from Ben & Jerry's. I will forever be upset that Doritos 3D and Sprite Tropical Remix got discontinued. And if you're watching this and you work for either of those companies, bring it back or unsubscribe because I don't need that kind of energy in my life. At summer camp, I once was dared to eat a daddy long legs, and I ate it. The first match I ever went to was Philadelphia Union versus New York Red Bulls. The first Bayern match I ever went to was an away match versus Stuttgart. I love supporting other women, especially other female football fans. And so 2 I'm going to mention are Antonia and Yulia. They both have YouTube channels and I'm leaving links to their channels in the description box below. I also want to shout out my high school friend Maggie Rogers. She's doing amazingly well in music and her first album drops this week, so you guys better go buy it. Speaking of women, I'm the vice president of the Red Ladies, which is FC Bayern's official women-only fan club. It is the only one in the world, and we're also an international group, and I just love them. My favorite meal of all time is Jäger Schnitzel with Käsespätzle from Vetter's in Heidelberg. Oh, and it comes like it's drizzled in this mushroom sauce. It's so good, and you have to pair it with Vetter's 33 beer. Their 33. It's literally 33% alcohol. It's so good and thick, and it just goes well with the everything. It's yes. I once fractured my nose in a snow fort competition that went rogue and turned into a snowball fight. Now here's what happened. The captain of our high school baseball team threw a snowball in my face and I was blind for like 30 seconds and I was trying to avoid any other snowballs, and so I just like plunged into the ground and it was 3 feet of snow. And someone was standing next to me and they felt like they weren't picking up snow fast enough, and so they had a sled and they scooped up a bunch of snow in it, and when I finally popped my head up, they threw the sled and it just clunked and hit me right in the face and fractured my nose. And no, I didn't need a nose job or anything like that, even though my nose is cute. Yes, just kidding. I would rather be hot than cold, and I think people who sleep with the AC on or the window open when it's the middle of winter, I think you guys are psychopaths. I did a 23andMe DNA test and there were way too many countries on that for me to list right now, but the moral of the story is like I'm native Afro-Latina with like a sprinkle of Scandinavian. When I was little, I wanted to be Shirley Temple. Don't ask. I once had a caterpillar named Ralph and I don't know what happened to him. My 2 celebrity crushes when I was younger were Jim Carrey and Usher. Couldn't be more different, but okay. Growing up, I would always have this recurring dream about something that had to do with my family, and it made absolutely no sense to me, and so I started Googling some things, and I ended up finding a long-lost sister on Facebook. True story. My favorite teacher was my 4th grade teacher, Mr. Eisen. He was so cool and very handsome, and the thing I liked the most about his class was that he would always make us read books and then we would watch the movies afterwards. And my favorite was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory because he taught us a lesson on entrepreneurship afterwards, and then we all had to come up with our own inventions, and then he filmed all of our commercials and we watched them in class, and that was the first time I really felt like, ooh, I'm a businesswoman and I'm such a leader and I want to take over the world, and yeah, it was really fun. I grew up as a dancer. Now I started dancing probably at the age of 4, And then the older I got, the more expensive dance was, and then my family just couldn't afford it anymore. But I kept dancing, and a few things I remember is one, Sierra came out with her Evolution album, but it came with this dual like DVD, and on the DVD she would teach you dance moves from her music videos, and so I practiced that every day after school. Like I thought I was Sierra, I was getting it. It was girl. Ooh, but I did get to meet Misty Copeland once, and she signed my point shoes. I prefer the Notebook over the Titanic, and you can fight me on that. I have 4 tattoos. Actually I have one here. It is a heart with the number 31 in it, and that's a tribute to Schweinsteiger. I also have a Mia San Mia tattoo on my bicep, and I have a tattoo on this finger that makes sense to no one but me, and that's okay. And I also have a small sun on my ankle, and my best friend has the moon because we are cliche and hashtag BFF goals. The celebrity death that affected me the most was Corey Monteith, and I remember that day like it was yesterday. It was a Sunday, and I remember that because I was supposed to go to church, and I ended up not going because I was like, Lord, I love this man, he's so talented, how could you do this? Speaking of religion, I am Episcopalian. Now, that was the religion in my boarding school, and coincidentally my college, I didn't pick my college for that reason, but when I went to college, I found out that I wasn't baptized, and so I was just like, oh my gosh, I gotta get baptized, and I could only do it with the kids who were in confirmation class already, and so I just learned the rules of being Episcopalian, and I was like, wow, this is so much better than the non-denominational / Presbyterian stuff that I was doing before, and I love being Episcopalian. And I don't think that any religion is better than the other. Don't think that that's what I'm saying. I actually think that it's very important, no matter what, that you believe in something and just do whatever works for you. The first song I ever remember hearing was It's All Coming Back to Me Now by Celine Dion. Celine is queen. I love her. I have severe asthma. Like, it's so bad. I have an inhaler that is 10 feet away from me right now because I'm like choking on dust and random things in the air right now, and I have crazy allergies that give me asthma attacks, and ironically I am super allergic to VapoRub and like menthol in general, so like cough drops and all of that. I can't have any of that. And last but not least, the last time I cried was yesterday because I was watching Tidying Up with Marie Kondo on Netflix, and it was the episode with the widow who's like cleaning up her husband's old things, and it was just so sad. I cried like the whole time, and I really cry at anything on TV or in the movies, or if I'm watching a YouTube video and it's like dogs and babies, I cry all of the time. So those are 50 facts about me. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to know a fact about you, so please leave a fact about yourself in the comments below, and I will take a look at it and let you know if you're a weirdo or not. Just kidding. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and let all your friends know, because we are some family. I'll see you next time. Tschüss.